Hello and welcome to A Quest for Metal. I'm back from my holiday, from my little vacation, and we're ready to do some more music, do some more videos, get more top 10s, more rankings, and reviews out of the way. And that's what we're doing today. We're going to do the latest Alcest album, Spiritual Instinct. Now, little backstory. I love Alcest. I've loved them since the first album, which I cannot fucking pronounce. Souvenirs du Atamonde? If you've seen this channel before, you know I can't fucking pronounce anything for shit. So that's probably not how you say it at all. So let's actually look it up. Okay, Souvenir du un autre monde? Yeah, so ever since that one, I've pretty much loved them, and I love their Lace Secret EP as well. Everything they've done has been fantastic. Even the Shelter album, which is no black metal growls on at all, has been fantastic. So Alcest, the band itself, they're a shoegaze band, kind of like Death Heaven. If you've heard Death Heaven with like Sunbather and stuff like that, then you know what you're getting yourself in for. Not to be confused with Death Havana, which I always get confused with those two, but yeah, they're similar to that, and these guys actually pioneered the sound. So it's kind of atmospheric-y, you gaze at your shoes, so it kind of drifts you off into another dimension. That's what I perceive by the name shoegaze, is that you're staring at your shoes, you're like, whoa, kind of like goths at a fucking Cure show, they're just kind of swaying, just like, Friday, I'm in love. It's kind of like that, similar kind of sound to that, but then they add the black metal shrieks in, which I think elevates it to another level. And this band is perfect. If I had to do a top 10 of my favourite bands of all time, these would make it on quite high. I'm not going to say were, because I will do that video, but they would make it on my top 10 list, because I love Alcest. And let's get cracking with the new album, Spiritual Instinct. Now, overall, this album flows really well. The songs are placed exactly where you want them to be placed. The intro track, there's a build-up at the beginning, then it goes really fucking heavy, then it ends perfectly to the next one, which is another belter, which is the single Protection. Then it jumps onto the third track, which is a slower paced one, which is another single, Sapphire, which is what you want after two fucking, in-your-face, longish, quite longish songs, quite heavy as well, and then you want a nice, slower paced one. Then it goes back into the longest track, which is 9 minutes long, which is probably the heaviest one. Then again, it has a nice little kind of interlude-y, softer song on it, and then to the final track, which is a fantastic song. So overall, everything is placed exactly where it needs to be placed, so the album flows really smoothly, I think. For the most part, I have a criticism I'm going to get out of the way straight away, and that is that there's only 6 fucking songs on this album, which is both good and bad. It's bad because I want more, and even if it's like bonus songs or something like that, I just want more from this album. I want more songs, I want more time with this band. But again, the good side is that there's nothing bad on this album. Everything is fantastic. I love it all, and you crave more. So the bad side is that you've got no more to crave for. So yeah, good and bad side to that. Generally good, because, the album as a whole, it flows well, it sounds nice, it's perfect. But the bad side is that there's not enough to digest, and I want more. But, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Kidnap them, make more music for you? No. So we'll do with what we got. Now I'm going to try and rank them from my least favourite to my favourite. What I think is the weakest on the album to the strongest. And there's no bad song on this album. So this is just a ranking of ones I enjoyed the least to the best. And I still love them all. So let's get cracking. If you hear a pitter-patter of feet in the background, that's my dog roaming around looking for nom-noms. So starting off with the weakest track on the album, it is one of the shorter ones, and it is Lemuria. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, I'm guessing it's The Mirror. But yeah, as I was saying, Lemuria, or Lemira, however you say it, that is the weakest track. It's the shortest one, and it feels more like a long interlude than an actual song, is what I'm going to say. And I think that's how they described it on the actual release as well. It's kind of epic in scope. It feels like a soundtrack to a movie, to a game, to something like that. But what I think is that it sounds very cyberpunk. I don't know if I'm the only one getting this, but I get a very cyberpunk-esque feel from this song. And I love cyberpunk kind of shit, like Blade Runner. And I can just see Harrison Ford walking through the cyber streets of neon Tokyo with this song playing. And I think it'd be absolutely perfect fit for it, which is why I'm saying it's kind of like a soundtracky song. And it's very enjoyable, very peaceful. I really like this song. It's not quite a song, if you know what I mean. It's like a long interlude. It has some vocal parts in, but it is kind of like a long interlude, but it's still really fucking amazing, and I love it. I'd still give it a really high mark, because I love... If an interlude like this is kind of done well, then perfect. You know? I'll give it like an 8 out of 10. Still really fucking fantastic for a song which doesn't have a lot of vocal parts in, and it doesn't have a lot going for it. It's still an amazing piece of music, and I suggest checking it out. But that is the weakest. Now, the second weakest. This is hard, but I'm going to have to go with Sapphire, the second single. Again, one of the shorter ones, but unlike Lemuria, this one has more going for it. It has actual choruses, has actual verses, it's really catchy. I love this song to fucking bits. I'd give it a fucking 10. But there's so many other songs in this album, I'll knock it down to a 9. It's just so fucking catchy. I love the fucking... it's very generic. That's probably why I'm going to put it here, as opposed to the other songs. It's very, very generic. But they did something new. They did a song like this, which is completely generic. But it works so fucking well. And yeah, sure, it's simple, but every once in a while you need a simple song. And this is their simple song, and it's fucking amazing. I love it to bits, and I'd listen to this over and over and over and over again compared to a lot of other fucking releases. Like, okay, that's a fucking wasp. Another jump cut again. A fucking wasp tried to attack me. I had to run away. That's very brave of me. Very brave of me. It's out now. It's out the window. But yeah, as I was saying again, Sapphire is a really fun song, and I love it to bits. It's just, it's a bit on the simpler side compared to the rest of the songs on the album, so that's why it's going to be here. Next up is the final song, Spiritual Instincts, and this is a song dedicated to the lead vocalist, Nij, I think, his friend, who passed away, sadly, and he wrote this song afterwards, and there's so much emotion in this song, it really comes through. And it's an amazing long song and a perfect closer. And the ending, the outro is phenomenal. The outro is phenomenal. This song is just fantastic throughout. And it is the most emotional song on the album. It's also not quite dark. It's kind of upbeat emotional. That's good. That's what you want for a closer. Because the rest of these songs are kind of gloomy, kind of doomy a lot of the time. This song especially has a lot of doom elements, I feel, especially because it's about the passing of someone. The emotion in the music is about that, if you know what I mean. That's the fuel to the song, and it really comes through, so that's why I can see some doomy elements, but overall this song is really good. I can't praise this song enough. It's just, I prefer the other 3 songs, so let's get to them. The next one is the longest one, Lily D. Morts, which is a really fantastic song. This is 9 minutes long, the longest one on the album. It's the most proggy. There's a lot more things going on, which means on multiple listens there's more things you can point out and be like, that part, I like that part, I like that part. This was really hard, because I had one of these as a 10 out of 10, one of my favourite songs of the year. And then I listened to the other one and I was like, oh god, this one's amazing as well. I don't know how to do it, but I think I'm going to stick with my guns. Number two is the first song on the album, which I'm not going to be able to say. Let's get it up. Les Jardins de Minuit. Minuit! Or Menu. I don't know. Whatever it is, the intro is absolutely phenomenal. The outro is so catchy and just kind of like bump, and then goes straight into the next song. I really love it. This song as a whole just has so much melody in. So much melody in. I love it for that. It's the best intro song Alcest. Whoa. I think, yeah, probably the best intro song Alcest have done. Almost had a mini stroke then. But I'll hold to that, even though I really love the Cala de Lune Part 1 and 2. But this one is just a phenomenal start to the album. Love it through and through, but it's not my favourite. My favourite is the single Protection. I think this is the perfect song. Best Alcest song they've ever done. It's one of the best songs I've heard this year. Probably my favourite song of the year. Even though, I'm an Opeth fucking fanboy, and I still think this is better than anything off that fucking album. I love that album as well, but this song is just something else. The melody in it, the intensity when it just builds up, it's perfect. The song is perfect. It has that kind of rhythmic section at the beginning, building up. Then it hits and he does the black metal screams and it just feels like your soul's escaping from your chest. And it's so intense. It's the most intense screams I've heard. And I've heard loads of black metal releases this year and that's the most intense I've heard. It's just like... The music video as well, artistic as hell. Feels like his soul's escaping his body. And then it does the slow down, more melody parts, and then closes down really nicely at the end. So it's like a perfect song. It's like a mountain. It's a perfect song. The build up, release, slow down to the exit. And it's just 10 out of 10. Easily 10 out of 10. Protection is the best Alcest song they've ever done, in my opinion. But that doesn't take away from the rest of these songs. All these songs are fantastic. That's just where I'd rank them if I had to. And that's what we're doing. It's all for fun. None of these are, none of them are objectively better than the others. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, overall, the album is going to get a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. I really love this album. It might jump to a 10 out of 10 in, time, but I'm not going to be one of those people that just gives it a 10 out of 10 straight away, because even though I want to. But I'm not going to do point system, so 9 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10. It needs more songs, at least 2 more. Another shorter one, and then another longer one, and it would be yes. And then maybe, I wouldn't say take away the Lemuria one, but if they added another song instead of it, a longer one, then it would justify the 6-track length. But at the moment, it can't quite justify the 6-track length, and that's why it's knocking a point off, because there's 2 shorter songs, and one of them is kind of like a interlude kind of song. So if you added another song in there instead of that, perfect album. As it is, 9 out of 10. Almost perfect album. So let me know what you guys thought of the album, Spiritual Instinct. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. And we'll see you again on another Quest for Metal.